Hi, my name is Matthew Lewellyn. I'm 15 and I'm from Saugerties, New York. So when I was about 12, I was still really confused. Going into 7th grade when I turned 12, I had no clue who I was. I wanted to think that I did, but I really didn't. I had come out as a lesbian earlier that year. I was in what people would call the rainbow phase, where, you're kind of out and proud about like everything and you don't shut up about it. I ended up meeting one of my friends who actually introduced me to the world of gender identity. They're pretty much like my brother now, but I essentially didn't know that like there's anything other than male or female. Like, I knew trans people existed, but I didn't think that was something to be in my universe. As time went on, I was like, okay, I'm definitely not 100% girl. This just isn't a thing, because I learned that like besides male, female, trans female, there's like a whole spectrum of other things, and I was blown away. So I sort of swam around in like the field of identities for a while. I was gender fluid for a while. I was XYZ. I was a demi-girl for a while, which is like, you feel like part of you is non-binary and part of you is female. And then I came out as non-binary, which I came out as to my mother. I think I knew deep down I was really a male. I was really a boy. I had said I was a boy in the mirror before. Like I'd said, I was every identity in the book in the mirror before, because, I wanted to figure out who I was, and I figure saying things out loud is one of the best ways to become sure of that. I would stand and look in the mirror and I would tell myself, I am female, I am non-binary, I am a boy. I'd say all these different things trying to see what stuck. And I said I was a boy, and that really just kind of, it stuck to the wall. So I knew that that was who I was, but I shoved it deep down in like the biggest pits of denial I had within me, because I figured if I identified as non-binary or something like that, my parents wouldn't be losing a daughter, but it was still just close enough for me to still feel comfortable in who I was. Fast forward a few months, identifying as non-binary for about half a year. In June of about 2 years ago, because I got 3 years ago, sorry, I got a drum set for the first time. My mom had either a friend or a relative, I don't remember, who was giving away this electronic drum set they had never opened for $200, which is very cheap. So my mom was like, I'm gonna get you this thing, and I just was kind of freaking out. It wasn't a birthday thing, it wasn't a Christmas thing. This was just because my mom wanted to feed the fire that I had for music. I came home to see this big black electronic drum set, because I don't have a real drum set, all set up, and I learned my first song in a day. The same person who introduced me to the world of gender identity introduced me into 21 Pilots, which, the best band of all time, anyone can fight me on that. And they have this drummer, whose name is Josh Dunn, and he had mental health experiences that were very similar to mine in regards to anxiety. And I saw this guy and I was like, I want to be that. Once I picked up the drums, it gave me this feeling like I am Josh Dunn. And it just allowed me to keep pushing forward. And then that gradually inspired like a love for music that expanded beyond the world of drums. And then as time went on, this is actually a week later, I learned, I was learning my third song, and I was playing the drums with my shirt off. I was just beating the crap out of this drum set, pouring out all my emotion, because regardless of how I identified, dysphoria was always a part of my life that loomed over me. So as I was beating the crap out of this drum set with my shirt off, my mother walked in. Granted, it was like 1 a.m. I was supposed to be asleep, but I was playing the drums. She was just like, you're gonna wake up your little brother. Then she kind of looked at me, not in a bad way, but she just looked at me sort of not confused. She was like sure of what was going on, but something had changed in the way she was looking at me. And when she walked out of the room, I had already put away my drum stuff and I had crawled into bed. We talked over text for a little while. And she told me that I was her son. And I was really confused, because I'm like, no, I'm non-binary, what's up with that? And she was like, no, you're like, this tells me that you are a boy, you're my son. And I sort of still was saying, haha, no, I'm non-binary, because I didn't want to have to face all that was going to come after. But apparently to her, the energy I was exuding was like so purely male that she just kind of knew. So later that night, during the conversation, maybe like an hour in, I kind of didn't concede, but sort of accepted. I was like, yeah, Mom, you're right. Like, that's fair. She kind of passed the torch of certainty onto me, being like, here, you can know who you are now. It kind of everything sort of took that small shift and was in place, and like it was the last piece that I needed to that specific puzzle of my life. I think I was so filled with emotions that I sort of numbed myself. And then I sort of went to sleep and I woke up the next day and it was like the world had color. Everything was kind of more real and it was out there. And, you know, I could sort of see things, and I saw myself in the mirror as who I was, and it was just, I started living my life instead of surviving it. Immediately the next day, I posted on my Snapchat, I was like, hey, so my mom figured some stuff out. And yeah, then I've been out ever since then. I came out to my dad shortly after that, but I've been so lucky to have the life that I do. When I look in a mirror now, besides just wondering if my hair looks good, right now I just kind of see not who I am, but I see the potential of the person that I could become. And that's one of the biggest, most important things to me, because I used to not be able to picture myself waking up the next day. But now I can picture myself living through the years and getting a job and becoming a writer and playing music for a band and doing all of these great things. And it's really just being able to see who you could be rather than who you are at the moment.